Good morning, Tribesters. We have a comment on my page that certainly deserves attention because honestly, it's a good question, Paul Timko. It's actually an accusation that you made. And Paul Timko asked about how much my puppies are. And then he posted this comment right here. Pause to read if you need to. This is a common generalization and assumption made by people who are only buyers. They've never bred a puppy in their life. They've never bred anything in their life. Maybe they don't even have children, so they don't know the real cost. But yeah, it's a common assumption that breeders are greeters. And fact of the matter is there are lots of greeters out there, Paul. There are lots of them. In fact, the big commercial breeders, the ones that I point out to people, are making tons of money. They're millionaires, and they often don't care. I mean, it's a true story that there are lots of breeders out there. You've got designer breeds, but commercial breeders, the big ones, especially in Europe, the big names are Vital Screen, Pride of Russia, Betelgeuse. There's tons of them. Tahi Rami. It's early. I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. These are commercial breeders. Okay, they have kennels with extensive kennel runs everywhere and tons of dogs. Small breeders like myself, I'm just an old lady, Paul. I'm 68 years old. When I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a dog breeder. And in the 1980s, I was a backyard breeder. I started like everybody. I was a hobby breeder. Now, backyard breeders and breeders that don't put a lot of money into their dogs can sell their dogs for a lot less money because it doesn't cost them anything. There is such a thing as quality of vehicles, right? Now, can you afford a Mercedes? You know, is Mercedes a big greetership? Like they're just, making cars because they're greeters? That's not what they're doing. If you have a Mercedes, if you have a BMW, if you have a Lexus or a Tesla, it's a luxury car. You see, it took a lot of money to acquire the lines I have. So when you're talking about how much we charge per puppy, you're not factoring into the fact that it cost me thousands of dollars to obtain the dogs I have. My lines are based on my Polish import that I imported 15 years ago. And back then, he was 2,000 euros, and euros were $1.40 a piece. So I spent like $4,000 for him. I have $13,000 invested in my Argentine bitch. My Grand Champion, it cost me $30,000 to show him and get the titles that I obtained before I ever bred him. So I had $35,000 invested there. My other dog that I imported to be a breeding dog panned out to not be a breeding dog because she had issues. So I had to spay her. I couldn't breed her. So that dog was about $5,000, and then she cost me $30,000 in vet bills. Okay, these are the costs of maintenance. Are you a homeowner, Paul? I've been in this motherfucking place for 35 fucking years. Okay, this fucking thing has cost me way more than I paid for it. I'll tell you right now. I got to put a new roof on here. So this month, I have to go and spend $5,000 on health testing for all of my dogs. We don't stop health testing them once we retire them either. So my grandmother, who's 9, who gave me 4 litters, I got to go spend a couple $1,000s on her. I got 4 dogs. So the food alone, I raise my dogs, and it costs me somewhere in the range of $10 to $20 a day just to feed my puppies because I feed them raw. So in addition to the yearly expenses of $3,000 to $4,000 I have to spend to health test my dogs every year. The stud fee that we just paid for the coming litter right here is $3,000. The bitch had $3,000 worth of health testing before we bred her. So if you want to count up just generalizations, maybe it costs you $10,000 for that litter to raise it, and then you get left over with $40,000. Are you not counting all the maintenance and the costs that I paid up to this point to get here and the ongoing costs that I will have? The reason that my puppies cost what they do is because they're luxury upholstered, high-end, champion bred, consciously chosen, and the testing alone is excruciating. So if you want to talk about what it costs to raise a litter and be up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the first 2 months, there was one litter that I had. She had what's called mastitis, so she couldn't nurse the puppies. And I had 12 puppies. I'm 67 years old, 68 in September. That litter, I was up for the first 2 weeks. 1 week, I was up 72 hours. I couldn't even get to sleep. 72 hours. What does it cost per hour to do a job 72 hours with no sleep? 24 hours a day. These bitches don't just manage these puppies all by themselves. You have to rotate in groups of puppies and make sure they don't get squished, stepped on, aspirated. I spent a week trying to save a puppy in my last litter because she aspirated on the milk. I had to do nebulizer treatments. I had to do a red light treatments, therapies. I had to do all kinds of things. So yes, there's certainly cheaper dogs out there. And I can certainly refer you to some if you're looking for one. Go to my friend Tamara in Texas, dude. You in Texas? Tamara, she has Daystar Dobermans. Her puppies are about $2,500. Does she do everything that I do? No, she doesn't. She's a lovely person. Her dogs are healthy. She doesn't have $30,000 invested in her stock. She's done some showing and some titled in some lower levels, but she hasn't spent 30 grand on just one dog, okay? My other bitch, I spent another 7 grand on the grandmother in her showing before I even bred her. And I didn't breed her until she was 4. And I didn't breed my male, my stud dog, until he was 5. So, dude, cut us some slack, because there's actually some of us out here who give a rat's ass about this breed. And we care about what we're doing. And when we make mistakes, we're devastated. When something happens to our puppies, we're devastated. I have a lifelong guarantee. If your puppy, your dog, dies of sudden death DCM because it came forward in the pedigree from somewhere back there, or if your dog was to die of bloat and it's 7 years old, my agreement with you is I will give you another puppy to replace it. How many people do that? How many people do that? That's my commitment to what I'm doing. If I have to give away a whole litter at some point down the road, I would do it. So you need to do more research and less judgment of the people that spend their lives in the trenches trying to create something so that I might actually have a dog that takes me to fucking 80 years of age. I'd like all of my guys here to make it to 15. I want a Doberman puppy that makes it that long. I just have acquired semen that I'm going to be using on my next breeding that will cost me $4,000, and it cost me $1,000 to get here just to create the litter. So pal, come and spend some time with me here. Come, I need some help on my next litter. Come and spend a week here at Jabrowski Dobermans and spend 24 hours a day for 7 days helping me raise these puppies, and tell me if that $4,200 to $5,000 is too much money. You want to take on that challenge? I'm happy to have you. I got a room for you here. Bring your wife, come to Sedona, Arizona, and come spend a week. My idiot is growling over here because he doesn't. Stop it. Stop, you big idiot. He growls over his bones. So there you go. I hope that helps, Paul.